Geek podcast. Today is October 21st, 2015, and my name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up? And man, we got quite a show ahead of us. Oh man, a lot happened this week. A lot happened right after the podcast ended last week.
Yeah.
And then it happened again. So we'll get into that. I feel like I was given an amazing gift and then it was taken away. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then of course the Star Wars trailer. That happened. So we'll get into that. We'll get way deep into that and spend some time with that. But before we do that, man, how was your week?
Good. Between work and Destiny, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I see the hooks have gotten into you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot of fun. Like we'll talk about that in the video game segment of the show, but yeah, dude, I've had a blast raiding and leveling stuff up, and we had the Iron Banner, and it's been crazy. So you're starting to see that side of that world. I'm really happy. But yeah, same thing here. Just working pretty much Destiny, and I played a little bit of the Uncharted collection. So hopefully I'll knock that out in the next few weeks or so.
Nice.
Before some big games come. But yeah, man, let's get into it. So tell me, what did you think of the Star Wars trailer?
Oh man, are you kidding? Come on, do I have to actually say something? Where do
Yeah.
I start?
Yeah, I mean, let's just, I guess, start from the beginning. To me, when the opening where you see, I knew it was gonna be, it's Rey, right?
Yeah.
That's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you see her climbing, and I see that you see the staff and whatnot, I'm like, oh, okay, that's her. And it just, to me, it looked like an old 70s picture.
Yeah.
Like Alien or something like that. And so many questions. What is she climbing in? What is she doing? What is she searching after? And this is what makes J.J. Abrams so right for the picture. He knows what to give the audience, the little breadcrumbs, and I loved it. I loved the shots with her and BB-88, on the planet, and I loved the shot of the spaceship just shooting off. And you can maybe I'm looking too much into it, but you could get this feeling of her on this planet wanting to leave, wanting to go off on an adventure.
Oh yeah, big time.
Right, and that's what you want. That's what made the original Star Wars so good. I like those beginning shots. We had a lot of the same stormtroopers and whatnot. It kind of put some pieces together. I think the trailer told us just enough that we already knew some of the stuff. Like you see the TIE fighter falling. Well, we kind of got an idea of that when when we saw Finn pop up and stuff like that. There's a lot in the trailer that we've seen, but there's a lot that we didn't. For example, we finally got to hear Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
So what did you think of that?
This guy's gonna be interesting. We've heard the rumors that he's kind of a Darth Vader fanboy, more or less, and now we kind of see like it's in there heavy. Like it's not just like, oh, he was my favorite. It's like, no, he for whatever speculative reason he considers it he considers Vader's objectives his legacy.
Yes. And I love that. That's actually, now that I've seen the trailer, that's to me the most interesting character that I'm going to be looking forward to, if that makes any sense. That's the character that I want to know more about. I want to know everything about him. Like the way he spoke was just like, you could tell he's obsessed with, Vader and Star Wars. The reason why I say it like that is because I feel a little piece of me in him, if that makes sense. Like the way it seems they've wrote that kind of character with his obsession with it. They know that there's so many obsessed people with Star Wars that they can understand that this guy's obsession with knowing about this myth and this legend and this time period that just doesn't seem to exist anymore. We hear Han in the trailer. We hear the interaction with him and Rey, and him saying, it's true. It's all true. She was saying we heard stories.
Yeah.
So it's like the historians don't exist for one, but no, it's like it's this old relic that, if you, I guess if you lived on a planet and you were isolated from everything, you would only hear rumors and legend of a battle far off in a galaxy. You know what I mean?
Right, and here's the interesting thing, that they
Hmm.
chose Han to say that it's all true,
I
Be-
loved it.
because the whole thing with him in A New
Hmm.
Hope was remember in the Falcon when Obi-Wan is trying to train Luke, and
Yeah.
he just kind of, oh, silly superstitions, whatever, just give me a blaster any day.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love I love now it's like, well, oops. Boy,
Yep.
I was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like he's a guy who's seen some shit now.
Yeah.
He's a guy that has 30 years of like, oh wow, like all of this history, and so that's going to be kind of cool to get into as well. And so yeah, absolutely. He was a doubter, and now he's telling these kids it's all true, and
Yeah.
that gave me goosebumps. Out of all the scenes in the trailer, that really gave me goosebumps. I love the scene with Poe and Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just that touch and the camera, go around, and they look like they're about to get ready into a battle, and of course all the X-wings and the Tie fighters, and it was really cool. You get some shots of like this weird giant robot. I think it was Finn and Han Solo and BB-88 walking, and
Thing looks like
well,
a minotaur. It looks like
it
a
did.
Vex minotaur.
It did. It did. It looked. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looked neat. No real shot of Luke. I mean, we see the shot of R2D2 in the hand, and we assume that's Luke. But I love that they're holding him back.
Yeah, how interesting that we've seen everybody except him. Not in the trailer, not on the poster,
Hmm.
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that. I love that the first big appearance of Luke Skywalker is going to be on camera, and
Yeah.
it's probably going to be a huge moment. It might be that moment where you see them all kind of with their hands up or whatnot, and who knows? I think it's going to be a big moment because he was the big star. I mean, everyone loves Han Solo and everything, but for the first trilogy, or yeah, for the original trilogy, it was kind of Luke Skywalker's story. So we're gonna see it come full circle, and there's who knows if he's good, who knows if he's bad. I think he's gonna be good, and so I can't wait for that moment to his big reveal on screen. I think that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I think he's probably pulled a Yoda in a way.
Yes,
It's just kind of like, for whatever reason, and I'm sure we'll find out. But like,
yeah,
he's become a hermit.
hmm
I don't know. Maybe he can't find any Jedi to teach. I'm guessing that's
hmm
probably more it.
yeah,
He's probably, and since here, I mean, here's the thing: 30 years and they're still fighting stormtroopers. This part of
yeah.
the Empire is still around. They just can't get rid of it.
Well, I
So
love that idea.
yeah,
I love the idea that, I guess as a kid, when you see the Return of the Jedi, everything's wrapped up. The Ewoks are dancing. That means everything's fine, and the galaxy is saved. And it's like, no, actually, in the real world, that's just a battle
yeah.
on a construction site, and that would be the end of the Emperor goes down, but someone's immediately going to step in. So we're going to of course find that out. We didn't see who that was either. We haven't seen what's his face's character.
Oh,
My mind's going blank.
uh, uh, isn't that Andy Serkis?
Andy Serkis, yeah, we haven't seen his character. We saw a lot of Kylo Ren. I thought it was another cool shot of Kylo Ren with like it looks like his like order of people around him.
Yeah,
Like his knights or whatnot. I thought that was really cool. And I keep going back to the fact that I love that in this universe, the Sith and the Jedi are myth and legend at this point, to where they're not around, they're not seen, and that now is going to be, and of course that's why they call it, I think, the Force Awakening, where it's coming back into the world.
right.
It's kind of like in Game of Thrones, where magic just is like this thing that there's no dragons, there's nothing like that, and until there is, and then there's a bunch. So I really love that. I love that they're kind of playing with the audience knowing that there's such an obsession for this that they can get right in and see these characters, want to know more about these myths and legends, and see them on screen. So it's really cool. It's such a just from the trailers alone, and I'm probably hyping it way too much. I know I probably am, but it seems like there's more story in this trailer alone than there was in most of the prequels. You know what I mean? And I don't want to hate on the prequels. I'm not a basher of the prequels, but just looking, again, I'm probably looking way too into it, but I really love what they're showing and what they're not showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I saw a scene of Kylo Ren with his hand out over Poe's face.
I don't think it was Poe.
Okay, okay,
It
I
might.
didn't know if that was Poe or not,
That's the only thing I'm not sure of.
and from what I understand, and this is something J.J. Abrams has said, so it's not a spoiler. He said that Kylo Ren is not actually a Sith. So that makes me wonder, does he have the Force? Is he a Jedi that maybe went the wrong path? Maybe, because he's using his hand to move things, or push, like you're the audience and you see him put his hand back and push as if he's using the Force. So I don't know. I'm curious to see. And there's a ton of rumors of who he actually is. If he has anything to do with the Solo or Skywalker family, that would be interesting. But it's all rumors and speculation. We don't know yet.
Right.
And I think that's really cool. I love the shot of the X-wing sniping the stormtrooper.
Yeah.
like it looked like Battlefront, for
totally.
a second. And that's and all the effects. There's a lot of CGI in it, of course, but there's a lot of practical effects to the point where you're like, the stormtrooper that flew across the screen, that's real.
Yeah, they put him on a wire.
The explosion in front of them, you can feel the fire on their faces, and it just looks so cool.
Yeah, I can't wait. And
Yeah.
and neither by the way could Fandango to get tickets on sale.
Yes,
they jumped the gun by like
that.
an hour and a half.
Right, yeah. Thankfully, we were able to get tickets. I was able to snag 4 for my friends, and you live in a different state. Of course, I would have grabbed one for you too, but you were able to get yours too. We had to sit there and push with who knows how many other fans. It's not. I don't know how they would do it, but this whole ticketing, it's not a good way. I guess it's a better way than people standing outside in the cold waiting in tickets.
Well, it's the same thing like with online gaming. It's a traffic problem. They just need to be able to handle more traffic. I say that like it's that simple, but
No.
but that is the problem. That's it. Really.
Yeah, and I guess Fandango couldn't. There's no point on buying that many servers for a few hours, because who knows the next time something like that's going to happen again. Probably the next Star Wars.
I was going to say the next Star Wars movie. I think that this is a time where you look at this and you say, you know what? We'll take the hit on whatever the cost is to have these extra servers.
Yes.
For just for this one, because we know we're going to need them. Anybody with half a brain could have looked at this and said, "Oh, you know what? We're probably going to get a lot of business when these go up."
Oh yeah, and I'm glad that I tried starting to go into it when it was during the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I tried to go into it beforehand, before the halftime, because apparently they went live as soon as the game did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right. Well, again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we're going to get in some movie news, but first, man, let's talk a little bit about today. Apparently, it's Futures Day.
It's Back to the Future Day.
Yeah, Back to the Future Day. So, I'd be shocked if we didn't get some Back to the Future news today about something. But we got a little, I thought it was cool. We got a little video from Christopher Lloyd, and I loved his little message. Just about make the future your own and everything. And it's kind of odd seeing him play that role again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of getting up there. He seems to get a little bit old. I guess ever since that film, he's looked a little bit old because of the character he's played.
Yeah.
I would love to see him in another Back to the Future film. I don't know about you. What do you think?
I'm good with the 3 we have. We don't need any more.
Oh man, I would love another one. It's a franchise that it doesn't make sense. I mean, you could leave it on the table, sure, but that's a franchise you could continue going if you really wanted to. I mean, they're doing Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but I mean that part of and I know you can say this about Ghostbusters too, but part of Back to the Future, part of the charm was Marty and Doc.
Right.
And I mean, you can't just replicate that with like
I agree.
It's those characters in that in that time, pun intended. I mean, just leave it alone. Like,
Yeah,
let's some things we don't need to remake or reboot or have another sequel to. Like, just leave it be.
yeah. No, I agree. If they've never made another one, I'd be perfectly okay with that. I'm just, I guess, surprised that the way Hollywood works, they haven't gone back to that well yet.
Oh,
I
I'm
guess
sure
is what
they've
I'm saying.
tried, but
Yeah,
I think everybody who was involved with that has just kind of said, no, we don't really want any part of it.
right.
I
Yeah.
mean, actors are. I'm sure. I think Zemeckis a while back came out and he said, "Nah, I don't think so."
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, it's been years since I've seen any of those films. I should really go back and check it out.
That
Yeah,
the first one still holds up fantastically well.
yeah,
The original is great, and the second one is good for kind of the I don't know, like it's a little sillier, which is
hmm
which is a little strange to say, because
yeah,
the first one sets kind of a high goofy mark.
yeah. I never really was a fan of the second one, and I think as a kid I enjoyed the third one just because
Yeah,
it was in the West or whatever. It was just completely different setting. Now they shot both of them at the same time, right?
yeah, I think that was one of the first times they ever did like a back to back for a
Right.
big budget, kind of for a wide release movie. I don't
Yeah.
know if that was the first. It probably wasn't, but I think that
Right.
was one of the first like widely known instances of it where they made a point of like, hey, we're shooting these together. That's why they put the trailer for the third one at the end of the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Oh wait, I didn't even realize that.
What?
Yeah, see, that's how long it's been since I've seen these films. I've seen the first one probably a million times. The
Yeah.
other two, it's been years. But I've seen it's been on TV a bunch lately,
Oh boy.
because the anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, man, let's get in some news. We already talked about, Star Wars. We could do a whole podcast. I've thought about that on that, but we'll let that be. We'll do it. We'll do our spoiler one after it comes out. And
Yeah.
but yeah. So let's get into some news. We got some Thor Ragnarok news.
Yeah, we
Uh,
do.
yeah, you take it.
Well, we talked a little last week about we're talking about maybe we're gonna have it be a Thor Hulk sort of buddy movie for the
All right.
third one, and they have confirmed that is gonna happen.
That's awesome.
They're saying they're calling it a cosmic road trip film,
That is so cool. I love
which
that idea.
which sounds like something Hunter S. Thompson would have written about.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, this is, oh man, I like I said, I've read, I forgot what run it is, so I'm not gonna pretend to, or I'm not gonna waste time to go back and think. It was pretty recent, and it was the Hulk, and maybe it was like 2 years ago, and there was like 3 or 4 issues where it was Hulk, and Thor, but it was old Thor. For some reason, it was like Thor from a long time ago, and he was very old Thor, if that makes sense. The way he was talking, the way he was
this is
acting, and
thous, yeah, okay.
yeah, and the Hulk was just they were so much fun together. And I think it was because this was right after Avengers, and I think a lot of people realized, oh wow, these two characters together because they're basically you could beat them up they could beat each other up and they're just having a good time. To them their strength is so insane. And that's all they pretty much did in the comic. They were punching each other around, giving each other, a hard time. But then when a bad guy came, they were serious and they took care of it. And just like in the movie, they had like a running number or whatnot. So I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see that in the film. It actually makes me excited for a Thor film.
There you go. See, and they've done their job at Marvel. Then you're all set.
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean, personally, the Thor films were never really my favorite. I know some people really like Thor films, but they never got my attention. I like Natalie Portman and whatnot, but it just never was my thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're also saying that Valkyrie and Enchantress may be in this film,
nice.
which would
Yeah,
be fantastic.
it's about time. They need to get in the movies. Let's see, we got some Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Volume 2 news.
Yeah,
Well, some details. James Gunn offers up some details, says that a member will join the team. Stan Lee will have another cameo. Drax and Baby Groot don't get along. And how do you pronounce his name?
Nebula.
Nebula, yeah, will have a larger role. So I heard about that last part. I read about that a few months back. A new member. So I'm curious who that's going to be.
Yeah.
Could be anybody with Guardians.
He made.
Really could be anybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's probably thinking Adam Warlock because of how important his character is in the Marvel universe, especially going up to Infinity Wars.
Right, and they asked him about that, and he
Oh,
said,
okay.
yeah, he said, look, Guardians Volume 2 is its own story. He's not like they've given him the freedom
Oh.
to not really be worried about connecting to the rest of the universe.
Hey, if you're gonna pick one franchise in Marvel to do that with, Guardians is perfect
Yeah,
because there was probably a dozen people who read Guardians of the Galaxy before the movie came out.
exactly, right?
Right, yeah, and before Bendis, took reins of it. Um, this would never happen. It could happen, but I don't think it will because I don't think the character will get out in the Spider-Man movies by that time. No, this will come out first, but the Venom character, Venom Space Knight,
Yeah, well,
because he's been with him in the comics for so long, that would have been cool. Maybe Captain Marvel. I don't know. No, you couldn't really do her. You don't want to introduce her yet. I,
right,
I don't I don't know who that would be.
yeah, right.
The dog. What's his name?
Do what?
The dog from the
Oh,
first movie. What's his name? Pluto or Cosmo? That's it.
Cosmo, yeah, Cosmo.
Yeah, he's pretty cool in the comics. I don't know why, but I love it when he shows up.
I bet you it's Howard the Duck.
Oh man, I don't know. I wouldn't like that. I don't think. Yeah, that would be interesting, but I don't like Howard the Duck in space. I don't know. That'd be weird. But that could happen. That absolutely could happen. So that's awesome. It definitely makes me want to know more about it. So,
Exactly.
let's see here. This news I loved.
This was
Um,
big news.
Yeah, this was yes, pun intended. The Legendary Pictures announces partnership with Warner Brothers to create a King Kong vs Godzilla in 2020.
Yeah, baby.
It's awesome. So we have the King Kong Kong's Island coming out first, and then we're gonna have another Godzilla movie, and then it's gonna lead up to a Godzilla vs King Kong. And we talked about this not too long ago, and then, I don't know if it was you or me, but we were talking about how those franchises need to mash together because I believe they're technically I guess they're not under the same house.
Now,
I thought they were. Okay. Yeah, if the two studios are coming together to do it, it only makes sense. Like, have these two Goliaths going at it. Yeah, once that one movie was announced, the what was it? Where they're fighting around the city, the video game with The Rock.
Rampage.
Rampage. Right.
Yeah.
Once that was announced, I thought, why wouldn't you do a Godzilla vs King Kong? That my I don't know why. I don't understand it. I've even asked my grandmother. She loves Godzilla films for whatever reason, and that's awesome. That's her thing. She's got a lot of things, but for some reason she really loves Godzilla movies. That's it. I guess what I'm trying to say is I've taken some of that as well. So I'm
Right.
really excited for the new Godzilla film to come out. Let's see here. We got some Die Hard 6 news for some reason.
Yeah, right. Because
Yeah,
it
but
won't die at all.
I had no idea there were 6 of them. The last one I saw was the third one, and I liked that one.
And stop there. Just do
Okay.
yourself a favor. Stop there.
Man, this behind the scenes stuff with Bruce Willis, like I was listening to the Smodcast recently, not to
Oh.
get off topic too much, but his partner, I don't know his name, the guy who's does a podcast with him was talking about how he was he had a role in a new movie, in a Coen's Brothers movie, and Bruce Willis was in it. And basically just screwed him over time and time again. Basically cut his scenes. The Coen brothers and whatnot felt so bad. They were like, here, we're going to give you this other character to play in a few days. Come back in. They got them all dressed up. They got to do whatever. And Bruce Willis cut that scene as well.
Yeah.
Like he told them this scene doesn't need to be in the film.
Yeah. Like the stories, and this is not just like it doesn't just happen to Kevin Smith and friends. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, remember he got fired. Sylvester Stallone fired him from The Expendables.
Yeah.
Because he said, hey, if I'm gonna work 3 days, or if I'm gonna work 4 days, 4 days, I don't want $3 million. I want 4.
Wow.
And Stallone said, you can get the hell off my movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And
There's a lot more action, heroes out there than you.
Yeah, and he replaced him with Harrison Ford. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Oh
just
yeah.
it's oh man, I don't know. Like there's so many stories about Bruce, and I just whatever. Like you stick him in a role, and it's whatever. His old movies are great. I love going back. What did I watch recently? The Whole Nine Yards.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's one of those things you got to separate the person from the character he's portraying. I do that a lot with Tom Cruise. I don't like to think about just all the crazy wacky stuff he
Yeah.
is in reality, and I can enjoy his films. I can enjoy Mission Impossible like I did the last one. I really enjoyed it, and you just got to separate it. They can be crazy wacky. It all depends. If they really do cross a line in the real world, then there's a point where I'm like, I don't support him. I wouldn't go see his films.
Right.
And some of that is starting to carry over with Bruce Willis, but it's making it easier because he's not been in anything really good recently, so it's made it very easy. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Len was it Weidman, who directed Die Hard 4, is coming back to do Die Hard 6, which is going to be like part sequel, part prequel. So yeah,
Okay, so it's gonna be like flashbacks.
I supposedly, or it's gonna be like bookended. Hey, let me tell you a story before I was a badass, about how I was a badass before then.
Yeah, man. I mean
Which
that third one was really good. I'd even just like to see a Die Hard movie with just Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah, right.
Yeah, like just have him take over the franchise. He's getting up there. I don't know.
But I mean,
But
the whole idea of a prequel destroys Die Hard, because the whole point of that is, hey, here's a guy who's just a cop. He's just a normal guy who gets wrapped up in all this stuff. But if you
right.
go back and you say, oh no, he was actually just super cop before that, no, it takes away so much from that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It just,
Exactly. Yeah, because that's what kind of he was born in that. So.
exactly, right.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, we're coming up to another break. Again, we'll be back. You're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Welcome back. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast, and we got a lot more news to talk about. Let's get into it with some movie news again. We got some Black Panther news.
Yes, I like this news. This is good news.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Ryan Coogler, who directed Fruitvale Station, and he's also directing Creed, they're apparently circling him to direct the Black Panther film.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen Fruitville Station though.
Oh, you should watch Fruitvale Station. It's good.
What's that about?
I cannot remember the guy's name, and that's terrible. But it came out not too long after everything in Ferguson and everything in Baltimore. It came out around that time, and it was about a similar incident back in I want to say San Francisco, San Diego,
Okay.
somewhere out in California. It was a young black guy who was on the subway, and they arrested him, and then for whatever disputed reason, they killed him.
Oh wow.
So it was and that sparked, and it was the right time to release it, because we had all of this going on again, or still, I suppose, and it was
Right.
just, and it's a good film.
Okay.
It's a good film, and it was where Michael B. Jordan got big.
Oh,
That
okay.
was his breakout role.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I remember him from The Wire. That's where
Yeah.
I first saw him. But yeah, okay, yeah, I see it here. There he is. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, Creed looks great. I can't say much for Fruitville Station. I'm definitely gonna check that out now. I'm always looking for a new film, and
You should definitely check that out. It's really well done.
all right, I'll check that out this weekend for sure. So yeah, that's good news. Let's see here. We got War for the Planet of the Apes. Director Matt Reeves tweets picture showing film has started. So what do you think about that, man? You excited?
Yeah, like these are. I'm never excited for these films,
I
but
am.
I enjoy. But when they come out, I love them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the weird thing. Like, I don't get hyped for them, but I know I'm gonna enjoy them when I see them. Which I know it's a strange kind of mindset, but
No, I couldn't agree more. Walking out of the theater in the last one, I thought to myself, the first one was really well done. It was good.
Yeah.
The second one I thought was even better, and it wasn't even the same kind of film. It was a completely different cast, except for a few of the actors or whatnot. The voice, Andy Serkis, and I thought, wow, like if the third one knocks it out of the park, we have a really good, strong trilogy, and that's rare.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, yeah. So I can't wait for that. It's gonna be good. We got some Gambit news.
Yeah, this this is interesting.
You know, we got Doug Liman from Edge of Tomorrow, rumor to direct X-Men spinoff.
And that's an interesting choice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
No, I
kind
mean
of
I loved Edge of Tomorrow.
No, yeah, like that was good. I'm trying to think of what else he was done. That's where I was trying to
I think
think.
it's a good choice. I mean, I really did like Edge of Tomorrow, so if it's anything like that, I'll be happy. The way it was directed, the way it was shot and whatnot, I thought it was really well made. Um, that's probably some of the best news I've heard from it in a while. I guess is what I'm trying to say. A lot
Right.
of the other news from the film hasn't been so good. So that's good.
Well, because usually it's all bad news.
Right.
Is Channing Tatum leaving? Well, no. Okay. Whew. But the
Right.
director left. Oh crap.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like what? What next?
Oh yeah, and this next one, we talked about a little bit ago. Underworld 5 filming begins in Prague, so I couldn't be less excited for
If
another Underworld.
if there was a time to throw crickets into this podcast, it would be here. I
Exactly.
just
Yeah. No,
just just because I'm like this is not a big franchise for one thing. Like I don't know how it's made it to 5 because it doesn't have the audience for it.
yeah. Just let it die already.
Well, I mean that was always kind of the point of the movies, but
Yeah.
but I mean just look, it's not. I'm not trying to bag on it, except that I am, but it's just I don't care. And the thing is, I don't think a lot of people do anymore.
Right.
It's not like Resident Evil where yeah, those movies also really suck and they've gone on way too long, but it's like there's still kind of an audience for those.
Yeah.
I know Underworld has a fan base, but it's not. It's been so long since the last one, and there hasn't been constant news of any kind. At least with the newest Resident Evil, they were like, "Oh wait, and here's an update. What's the update? We're working on it. Okay, great." And then like a month goes by. What's the update on the new one? We're still working on it. Okay, great. Like there's been this
Yeah.
one has just kind of been like, "Hey, we're making another one." It's like, God, the last one was like 5 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, three or five. I don't remember. But I mean, just uh, anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, man. I couldn't be over. Just I didn't even know there was 5 or there was 4 of them to begin with. It's just like Resident Evil. I lost track a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we got some more news here in movies. We got Friday the 13th. Next film and franchise to be pushed from May 13th, 2016 to January 13th, 2017. That is a huge push.
Well, I guess they couldn't find a sooner next Friday the 13th to release it on.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, I don't know what the schedule's like in 2016, so I don't know.
Right, yeah. I mean, I guess that's one of those franchises they could push a year and no one's really gonna care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No one's itching for a new one, but when it comes around, they'll be like, "Oh, I remember this franchise that hasn't died yet."
And again, the point. But
But I think it's a little bit different from Underworld. I think it has more of a legacy.
oh, it's got more recognition for sure.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's not going to draw a huge crowd, but it'll definitely draw. Just throw Friday the 13th up on a marquee, and you're gonna get a bigger crowd than if you throw Underworld on a marquee.
Exactly.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
and I wonder if they're doing this because of the game.
Yeah.
They're gonna let that because that's gonna come out next
True.
Halloween ish. So that comes out and maybe hopefully gets people more excited and say, "Oh yeah, I remember this. This was kind of cool." Oh well, if you like that, well, coming in January,
Yeah.
and I think that would be smart because these things can't take a lot of time and money to shoot.
Oh yeah.
They're not special effects heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Well, this next bit of news I thought was cool. I love that. Seems like weekly now we're getting new news from the Power Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can take it.
Dr. Montgomery, who has
Yeah.
been in nothing that I could find. He
Right.
was in like a TV movie somewhere, I think. Has been cast as the Red Ranger. And
Right. And for just a second, think in your head of a white guy. That's what he looks like.
yeah, oh
Like,
no, you're
he's
exactly
just
right.
he's looks. I mean, and I know that sounds bad, but like that's just what when I saw him, I was like, oh wow, he looks just like what I imagined the Red Ranger would look like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. It's like picture a white teenager. You got
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
It really is. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that's kind of the way I described it to my buddy who was like, well, what does he look like? What is it? And I was like, just think of a white guy. And I showed him the picture. And he's like, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That's cool. I haven't seen him in anything, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, he has. That's what I mean. He hasn't been in anything. Like he was in
Yeah,
a short and a TV movie, and I think that was it.
he was in a trailer for something. That's it. He was in a trailer. Family
Uh,
Tree pilot trailer.
okay, yeah. See,
TV movie.
it was a pilot. It wasn't even a thing.
Right, and he only appeared in the trailer apparently.
But here's something that I found interesting about this news, because
Yeah,
I went back and I looked at when they cast the Pink Ranger, and I
yeah,
realized that that's what they're saying. They're not saying cast as this character slash the Pink Ranger.
right.
They're saying they're cast as the Pink Ranger, the Red Ranger. They're not giving the actual character names.
Right. Yep.
And that's
Interesting.
interesting to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. But okay. Well, yep. Well, we that's it for I think that's gonna wrap it up for movie news. I forgot to mention back when we were talking about Star Wars. Have you seen the IMAX posters and whatnot they're gonna be giving out?
No, I'd seen like they're gonna be doing that, but I hadn't actually seen the posters.
Well, apparently every week, I think for 4 weeks, they're going to be giving out a new poster to anyone that goes and sees the film for I think it's IMAX at AMC.
Right. Yeah. 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 It
Right.
is. It's every Sunday, I think.
Well, oh man, I hope it's not. Well, I hope it's opening night. That'd be cool. I want the poster. The first poster looks beautiful. I don't know who did the art on it. I'll send you a link on our breaker even right now if you want. But it looks beautiful. It's like a yellow and it looks like art. It's not just like a picture of them. It's like it looks like I'm getting the names mixed up. Ray on Jakku. Or,
Yeah.
yeah, so
It's kind of comic book artish.
I love it. Oh, that's a poster that I would actually frame and put up.
Yeah.
And if the other ones look anything like it, I imagine it's like the main characters, maybe Poe, Finn on a planet or whatnot. That would be really cool. That'd be really cool. So if let's be honest, I'm gonna be there every Sunday for
Oh
those
yeah.
first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee I'm probably actually gonna try and buy tickets today for the following week, just so I make sure I get them. But that's really cool. That's so cool. I love that they're doing that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's get into some TV news. We got some Why the Last Man news.
Yeah, this was the thing. Like right after we wrapped last week, I saw
Yeah.
this go up, and we debated. We debated about trying to tack this in,
Yeah.
but I thought, nah, we'll save it for next week.
Yep.
Yeah, FX is working on a show based on the graphic novel series.
Yeah, man. So we read the first volume not too long ago. I want to read more of it.
Yeah, just in time too, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So this is really cool. I love this idea. FX is a really good place to have something like that. So
It'll work good on FX. Like I'm glad it's not going to like to Fox or to just to like network TV.
oh yeah,
'Cause this is not an ultra graphic series. It's not like The Boys, which is
yeah, exactly.
I don't know how they're gonna get away with that, because
No, yeah.
that's
Wait.
hyper violent almost.
So it hasn't been announced. Wait, refresh my memory. We talked about The Boys last week, but did it say what channel picked it up?
I think it's AMC, because
Wow.
it's Rogan and Goldberg.
That's why we speculated, right?
Yeah.
That it was AMC because of them. Yeah, no, that's gonna be interesting.
I'm curious how they get away with that. Like that's
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
why the Last Man? They should be able to do just fine.
Yeah, they'll be able to do that on FX. It's no more graphic than The Bastard Executioner, so
Right.
it'll be fine.
Well, what was their last big one? Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, it's a little more graphic than that, but
Yeah.
that was rough too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sons of Anarchy got crazy. It got to the point with that show where I had enough of the characters. I hated them enough that I didn't care what happened to any of them.
Yeah, I
I was
could
like,
see
okay.
that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like any of these characters. I don't. I hope they all die. And that's kind of what I finished the series hoping. I was like, I hope they all die. They're all, and I guess that's the point. Most of those kind of shows, I still at least root for the main character, like Tony Soprano, Breaking Bad, Walter White. And I couldn't wrap my head around one of my friends going, I hope Walter White dies. Like, he is a horrible person. If you really think about what he's doing, he is a bad guy. And I guess that's the whole point of it. But
Yeah.
I was still rooting for him at the end. No, I got the same feeling with Sons of Anarchy. I was just like, nope, I hate all these people. They're all scumbags. Oh yeah, but hey, we'll be right back. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we got a lot more news to talk about. One more thing came up, and I forgot to mention it earlier, and I want to mention it now. We had some Captain America Civil War news that but we all know Baron Zemo is going to be one of the bad guys in it, and apparently he's leaving his mask behind.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it's good. He looked silly in his like purple mask with a gold crown thing over it.
Well, and I mean, let's remember how he got that mask in the comic books. He put it on and then basically got some super soldierized super glue stuck on it. And so he can't get it off ever. Like, that's
Wow,
it.
see, I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah, it's
Learn something every day.
it's some weird chemical. It's like adhesive X or something. It was really called something like that. And
That
and
makes
so
a
he
lot of
can't get it
sense.
off. Like, oh man. But
Yeah, man, it's. I think it's a smart move. I think it'd be funny, like, tongue in cheek, if, he was wearing a ski mask that was purple at some point in the film to, I don't know, he has to put on for whatever reason. But even if they don't do that, even if it's just his character and he's there, maybe he has some flair that's purple. I would be okay with that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like if he had a handkerchief or scarf or something at one point in the film that was purple, or a hat or something, just a tongue-in-cheek nod to what it is. I'd be okay with that. Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah.
That would
Oh
work.
yeah. But let's get back into some more TV news. Now, this was some news that I've been reading the last week or so. Now, we heard some rumors that Iron Fist was in fact not going to be a show that Netflix was going to do. Did you hear
Really?
about this?
I hadn't heard about this. No, go on.
Yeah, so basically Netflix, there's been some issues behind the scenes with Iron Fist. And here, let me pull up the article. What they were basically saying is technically it's not canceled. Now, this is, again, rumor and speculation. This is from a source that apparently works at Netflix, or as close to Netflix, says it's technically not canceled, but Netflix has plans to retool it as Shang-Chi if they can't find a showrunner to take up the part by the end of 2015. So basically making it another martial arts show like Marco Polo, Mortal Kombat Legacy, since he lends to grittiness much easier than Iron Fist. Currently, Iron Fist problem is that nobody can get a solid series pitch beyond Magic Guy who fights crime. Which
That's
should be enough. You know?
well, you would think, but you know, oh
Iron
man,
Fist has had some really good runs in the last few years. I can't for the life of me thinking of who did it, but I remember reading a run or two, like in the last 2 or 3 years, where it was really good, and it was basically, the story's been told many times. He had a lot of money, and he kind of reminded me of Batman in a way. Like he just went out there and he busted, it kicked ass.
yeah.
And I guess he had money. That's why it reminded me of Batman. But it was good. I could totally see a few seasons on him alone. Shang-Chi, I'm not that familiar with. Are you?
Just kind of in passing, really.
Yeah, to me it's more. Iron Fist makes much more sense because of Power Man.
Power Man and Iron Fist. I mean,
Yeah,
It's in the title.
Yeah, exactly. So I really hope that someone comes along and goes, here's a good script. I mean, I don't want to be a hypocrite either. If they don't have a good script, don't make a show.
Right.
Yeah. So it's that makes sense that if they can't get something going, they're gonna go with what they believe might works. But I don't see that being good either. I mean, I don't know. I guess a kung fu TV show could work as well. So who knows?
Well, I mean, when was the last decent one of those we had?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we'll see, but I thought that was some interesting news. We got some other news here. Now this one dropped, and we didn't actually even talk about it in movies, but we'll talk about it now. The whole fiasco of last week.
Yeah.
With Fox Studios and Marvel. We'll get into the first part. Fox Studios announced 2 new series, one based on Legion, another based on the Hellfire Club. Now, how they got the rights is it's still unclear. Okay? And, hopefully when there is smoke, there's fire. But apparently, what happened was the following day, that news broke that that we'll talk about in a second about Fox getting making those two new shows. But the following day, rumors came out on every website that Fox gave the rights back Fantastic Four back to Marvel. And because of this deal that the Marvel TV studios was going to give Fox the rights to do a TV show, and Fox was going to give the rights Fantastic Four back. Now it was all rumored, of course, and that is a lot of paperwork. That is a lot of crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So we took it with a grain of salt. I thought it was real. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that because it made sense with what happened. It made sense because of it bombing, with Fantastic Four bombing. It made sense with the news of the TV show. What do you think?
I agree. Well, I mean, that was when Fox first announced they wanted to make X-Men TV shows, and the news came out that they didn't own the rights. That was my gut reaction.
Yes.
Let's just trade. Here, you want to put X-Men characters on TV? We want the Fantastic Four in our movies. Like do another Sony deal.
Because if Fox has done one thing sort of right with comic book movies, they got X-Men good. That's their money, And it would only make sense they would want to do a TV show or a few of them to stay in the same line. It made too much sense, so I guess that's why it didn't happen. I hope the people at Fox realize how happy people got when they were like, just give them back. But who knows? We still don't know what the trade was. Hopefully it wasn't for nothing. Hopefully Marvel got something in return. We still don't know yet. And there's probably a lot of stuff behind the scenes. They just haven't announced yet. Probably can't legally announce yet. Maybe it's one of those deals that Sony did where Fox will still make the films, but they will be intertwined with Marvel. And I will be much more happier with that than nothing, if that makes sense.
But here's the interesting thing.
Right.
This deal would have happened a year ago, but let's not forget that Marvel Film and Marvel TV are in 2 different houses now.
Right.
Marvel Film reports directly to Disney. Marvel TV reports directly to Marvel.
That's true.
So that kind of deal, like the Sony deal, worked because it was just 2 parties. It was just Marvel and Sony.
Right.
Dealing with film. Mm-hmm. But I suppose it still would have worked now because it's still film and film. But you're thinking of a film for TV deal. And maybe it's no different, but I've got to believe there's some kind of business difference there somehow.
Right, it's not the same heads in the room talking.
Exactly.
And so, the one's interests are not going to care about the others. And they will. Like the overall picture, they're going to care, you know what I mean? But they're probably looking out more probably for them. Like, what rights can we get to make a TV show out of? Than from Fox or whatever. There had to have been something. I don't think they just gave them the rights because that would be dumb. Marvel
No,
had
oh
all
yeah,
the cards in their hands because Fox really they blew it with Fantastic Four. They blew it so
yeah.
bad that I don't know. And that's the thing. And that's the thing. That's why they immediately came out and said, "We're making another film." You want to know why? Because they would lose the rights. So they have to. They have to make another film in a certain period of time. I forget the years. I forget how many years it has to be. But if you don't make a film in that time frame, then the rights go back to the original owner.
Well, it varies by contract, I think.
Well, but I'm saying that Fantastic Four. Oh, okay, you're right. It varies by contract because that's what happens with That's what happened with Superman. That's why they did the one, the Return of Superman, or
Superman, the one with Brandon Routh. Yeah, Superman Returns.
exactly. That came together because they were like, we have to make it or the rights go back.
Yeah.
And or they lost the rights. That's what it was.
And Warner Brothers and DC do not want to keep that fight up. That
Exactly.
could you because they had been fighting with the Siegel and Schuster families for
Yep.
for decades. Could
Yep.
you have imagined if they'd lost the film rights? Oh my
Oh,
God,
yeah.
they would have. That would have just been. Some people would say that would have been awesome for the Siegel and Schuster families, and I don't disagree with that.
Right.
For Warner Brothers and DC, that would have been catastrophic.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
could you imagine just how much they would have? They would have been forced. It would have been like, okay, you want this, we want everything in return,
Yeah,
and they
pretty
would have
much.
had to have paid it.
And you would have never gotten a Justice League film. You would have never got Batman vs Superman. You would have never got anything like that because he's the keystone to that whole universe. And so yeah, man, I don't know. It was such a disappointing, like just to be like, here you go, guys. Here, Marvel gets the rights back, and I've been beating that drum that I I would rather have X-Men go back, but Fantastic Four with the right people behind it can be amazing. Jonathan Hickman's run on Fantastic Four is one of the best runs I've ever read, and if you haven't read it, go out and read it. It is amazing. It's Marvel's first family, and the people that I talk to that are old comic book fans that have read since Fantastic Four, the first 10 issues or whatnot, they swear by Fantastic Four because they're the first family. They were what was so popular with Marvel before X-Men came out, and the really old fans have been so heartbroken over what they've seen in the films when they see Ben Grimm just killing people and not really caring about it and all this other stuff. It's not the character that they remember, and we could go on and on about all the stuff they did wrong in the film because we have, but it was like yes, everything's kind of moving into play. Spider-Man's working with Sony, and I never thought Spider-Man movies were that bad, so I'm okay with Sony making them. It's going to be tied into Marvel. It's going to be great. The Fantastic Four, I thought, all of that going back, we would have gotten Silver Surfer. We would have seen Galactus in his true form. No doubt in my mind, Marvel would have put Galactus in the hat and all that other stuff.
Oh, are you kidding? Absolutely,
And,
they would have,
and,
because they would have found a way to make it not look stupid.
and would you imagine Iron Man's reaction? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What is this? It would have been. Oh man, just thinking about it upsets me because that would have been great. And like I said, hopefully, when there's smoke, there's fire. Hopefully, there was some truth to that rumor. We'll find out. We'll find out in time with everything else. Let's take one more thing before we go to break, and then we'll take the last thing that I know you're super excited about. The first thing, though, H.R. Pufnstuf.
Yeah, there's a name that most of our crowd probably won't remember.
The name I know, but I know what channel it was on. It was on Nickelodeon. So apparently they're bringing that children's show back.
It was on NBC. This predates Nickelodeon by decades.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
They probably aired reruns on Nickelodeon at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so it's coming back. So they're bringing the children's show back onto Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon seems to be making some good moves. Now, what H.R. Pufnstuf? It was what was a puppet or?
Yeah. It was an old time kind of like live action puppet show.
Was it a dragon?
No, that's Puff the Magic Dragon.
That's what I'm thinking.
Different.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah, no,
Gotcha.
this was, and I mean, this was a show. This show hasn't been on the air since 1970, I
No.
think like most of our crowd was not alive. Were not even thought of. Their parents hadn't even met yet.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, that's they may not have even graduated high school, but
probably not. Nope.
uh,
Yeah, but what we'll do, we'll take a break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk a little bit more about TV. Then we're gonna get into video games. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we just got one more bit of TV news to talk about, and then we'll get into some video games. But hey man, you take this one. I know you're excited.
if it hadn't been for Star Wars, this would have been my favorite news of the week, by far.
Yep.
Netflix is developing another little mini series. It's going to be 4 episodes. Each episode is going to be 90 minutes apiece, and it's going to be a new season of Gilmore Girls.
There you go. That's kind of like Sherlock.
Yeah, like how they're gonna do it that way a little bit, yeah. But
Yeah.
look, I was a huge fan. I jumped in the game really late, like season 5, which depending on who you ask is either the third season from the end or the second, because the fan base really doesn't like season 7. I make no apologies for being a fan. It's an awesome show. Uh, um, Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel Palladino, who wrote and produced it, the dialogue is ridiculous. It's insane how much dialogue they cram into these shows, and it works. The writing is fantastic. And there's and they left after season 6. So they brought in they wrapped up everything in one last season, and fans were not happy. I was on it. It definitely had its ups and downs. It had some big downs, but for a finale to end the way it did, it worked. And everybody wanted a movie. This was another show that was like, okay, give us a movie. Like
Right.
we want a movie. We have to have a movie. Well, time passed. Nothing materialized, but there was always still like kind of that sort of grassroots idea, that sort of movement of just like, no, we still want a movie. And so at something over the summer, some event, I forget what it was. They did like what was it, like a 15th year reunion
Okay.
or whatever, like 10 or 15, whatever it was, and they got pretty much all the cast together. Edward Herman wasn't there. He passed away not too long ago. Unfortunately, he was a huge presence on that show in particular. But they had seeing the response to how, I mean, they packed that room full.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm sure that got people talking, especially over at Netflix, saying, hey, when we said we were going to put this show streaming, we got a huge pop. And we thought, oh, okay, that's cool. It'd be kind of like how it was with Friends in a sense. It's like really
Right.
popular show, big fan base. We get a pop. And then they did this reunion panel, and again, huge crowd response. And I'm sure somebody was thinking, people want some more of this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who was on that show doesn't have a show right now. Alexis Bledel was on Mad Men. It's done. Lauren Graham was on Parenthood. It's done. Kelly
Kind of
Bishop
perfect timing.
Kelly Bishop has been off and on. It's perfect timing. And so it's like, let's work something out, because it would only, and that's the thing, it's only in their best interest. As long as they get, the big thing was they had to get Dan and Amy back. They had to, because that was the big problem with the last season was they weren't there.
Now, as someone who's never seen Gilmore Girls, now
Okay.
don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of chick shows like that, and I say that very nicely because I do like chick flicks. I do like shows generated more towards female audience, like OC and One Tree Hill. What is this about? Is it the same kind of like drama?
No,
No,
it's.
okay.
I mean, it does include. I mean, look, it's.
And let me say, I know how ignorant I'm sounding right now.
That's all right.
But I don't know anything about it. So as an outsider's point of view, when I see Gilmore Girls, I think of that kind of show, and I'm not downing it. Like I said, I loved One Tree Hill. I loved OC, and it was really because some of my friends that are girls. I won't say girlfriends because they weren't girlfriends, but they got me into it. They were like, "Hey, watch this, check this out," and I watched it with them, and I was like, "This isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be,"
Not bad
and I
though.
really enjoyed it. So, Gilmore Girls, what is it about?
There, it's a mother and daughter show.
Okay,
It's Lauren Graham plays Lorelai Gilmore, and her thing is she got pregnant at 16
okay,
and had a kid, and so they grow up more. They're closer in age. It's more a sister kind of relationship than parent offspring.
gotcha.
They live in this just ridiculous little small town.
Hmm.
The supporting cast. I love the supporting cast. The supporting cast is all kinds of goofy, including Sean Gunn,
Okay,
who you'll remember was in Guardians. He played
right, right,
he played Yondu's biggest henchman. He
yeah.
plays the goofiest character. Kirk is hysterical, but this is less teen drama and more family.
Hmm.
It fit it fit when they decided, hey, we're gonna air the reruns on ABC Family. It fit
Okay,
perfectly. It's on Netflix. Go give it a shot. Go give it a few episodes.
okay. Yeah,
It's
no, I'll definitely check it out. It's you said it was on Netflix, so
yeah.
yeah, that's easy to do.
The
Yeah, no, that's cool. I know it has a huge fan base. It was just that was one that I just didn't, for whatever reason, get into. I don't know why. The OC and One Tree Hill was the one that I watched, and that went on forever. I think like it had an entire new cast by the end of One Tree Hill.
Well, and here's the thing. I think it was Adam. What's his name? On the
Adam
OC.
Brody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he came from Gilmore Girls.
Oh, okay.
So did Chad Michael Murray on One Tree Hill.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is before One Tree Hill's time.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
and
Okay.
it's great because when he left Gilmore Girls to go make One Tree Hill, they were like, "What happened to his character?" It's like, "Oh, he went to military school in North Carolina." I was like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
got that joke." And then when Adam Brody's character leaves, they're like, "Look, it don't," because he was in a band on the show.
Uh-huh.
And, typical, like, young 20s band, or like, don't talk to me about that traitor. He took his sound and he went to freaking California. Don't talk to me about him.
Oh man, yeah. The theme song's hit and run in my head now from the OC. That was crazy. Yeah, those are good shows now. Yeah, it.
Jump on there and give it a shot. I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
If for nothing else, because the dialogue is so full of different references.
Hmm.
There are so many pop culture references in every show. It's insane.
Nice. Will do. Yeah, no, definitely check it out. And I now that we know, they're doing this original show for Netflix. Oh, this really makes me want a Firefly show, and it's making me wonder why hasn't it happened yet?
It's got to be a rights issue. It's
It
got to be a rights issue.
Yeah, I mean Fox probably owns them, right? They know it's, jeez.
But I mean, they can't just sit on them. Like
Yeah,
if they're not going to do anything with them, then sell them. Make some money off of them. Having assets just sit there. I mean,
that has to be the most. I imagine for Netflix to get like requests for most show to, hey, bring us back, Netflix or Hulu. That has to be the number one show.
I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah, by far.
I guess the second one would probably be 6 Feet Under. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I never got into that either.
No, I was like, what's a random show I can pull real fast? And that one
Right.
popped into my
Well,
head.
if Arrested Development wasn't done, and they're doing another season apparently,
There you go.
that would have been right there on the list because those seasons on Fox, that's the thing. Fox had a really good thing going, and they screwed it up with a lot of their stuff.
Arrested
So,
Development,
yeah.
Fantastic Four, Firefly. It's almost like they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for Gotham. I'll tell you what, Gotham Season 2 has hit its stride.
Oh yeah. Speaking of OC,
Yeah, right.
yeah, it was such a shock for him to go to see like, okay, he's doing this show, and I was like, I remember him from the OC. Like I remember him telling cops to go screw themselves, and, trying to get with Summer, or no, it wasn't Summer. Forget who it was. I forget who it was. But yeah, Marissa. Yeah, that's what it was, Marissa. But anyway, Yeah, man, those shows, dude, they're all shot in North Carolina, right? Wasn't One Tree Hill and
Yeah,
like Dawson's Creek and all that?
yeah, they used to be, and then they screwed up the uh what's the word I'm looking for? The incentives. Just
Oh, okay.
flushed them down the toilet up here, and so everything left. They did Under the Dome here, and if they hadn't canceled it, they were going to move production. Sleepy Hollow was done here. They're moving production, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
And
at one point in time, that was the second most filmed location in the United
because
States.
we've got everything here.
Yeah.
We should be touting that. We should be just banging the hell out of that drum. Come film in North Carolina. We have everything you could possibly need.
Right, all the seasons. I wonder what happened with that. I mean, we know what happened, but why would they even think that's a good idea?
Because because the people who make the rules about this stuff don't understand how this stuff works.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Much.
It's all legal crap. And they're just like why it would just make more it would just work to increase tourism if nothing else. Like come see where they shot, whatever, instead of like we still have the Nicholas Sparks movies, which just draws a tremendous crowd.
What? Yeah, no, I remember watching Dawson's Creek, and then I remember watching One Tree Hill, and I was like, this is the exact same town. These are the exact same places they're hanging out at. And it was. I found out, I did a little bit of research. The internet wasn't that big back then, but I did a little bit of research, and yep, it absolutely was. These are the same sets, same cities, same places they're filming at. I thought, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, Wilmington is big up here for being the production site of a lot of different stuff. They even did some of, what was it, The Replacements? The one with no, I don't remember. It's either The Replacements or Leatherheads, and I can never remember which one.
Oh, okay.
Filmed up here, and that was a big deal.
Oh yeah, I remember The Replacements. That would be definitely big.
But,
Orlando, I mean, we got some stuff, but it's not on the same level. Florida, people usually either go to Miami or to like the beach.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the South Florida, they usually film if they're doing like movie stuff. But never usually in Orlando. I know one of the old buildings I worked at was filmed for a Wesley Snipes movie a while ago.
Nice.
But that's about it. I mean, I don't think there's actually anything done at Universal Studios, in Orlando. Maybe a few TV shows. Like I think Family Feud was filmed here for a little bit.
Well, I know they did. Like people love bringing stuff to Orlando. Like they did. Yeah. I think they did like a road show with Family Feud.
Yeah, no doubt they do that. Like I think Ellen comes every year or something like that. It's always on the news.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon did some shows there. Earlier this year, I think.
Right, exactly. Like, hey, we're at the theme parks. Look at all the people behind us, and here's our show. Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, I know Fear Factor was shot here for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was a kid, I was on the Nickelodeon. What was it? Oh, it was something at Nickelodeon, and I thought I was on a TV show because they make you believe that you're on that TV show.
Nice.
And like you get to slime somebody and all this other stuff, and it was really fun. But then I realized later it was not actually filmed or anything, and the cameras weren't real. They were just people behind them moving them around.
Nice.
But yeah, it was cool. So, that's time. So yeah, we talked about Gilmore Girls for an entire segment. So we'll be back. We got some video game news to talk about. And again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the in.fm. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast, and we got some video game news to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Oh yeah, let's take the first one here. You take it because this is the silliest news I've heard in a long time.
It's the Pacific Rim 2 of video game news. Like, it's every week, this is happening, this isn't happening, this happened, no, that didn't happen. Well, what about this? No, that, oh, God. It's, for anybody that hasn't guessed, it's the Kojima-Konami saga all over.
Right, and the headline, it kills me. It's Konami denies Kojima has left. Says he's on vacation. It's from Kotaku. And that's what they said, is that he's on vacation. When they were asked, they said, hey, Kotaku was like, we were actually at his going away party that you guys threw for him. And you know what they said? We don't know what that was. Yeah, and Kotaku, go look at their article, Kotaku.com. They have a picture of them at his going away party.
No,
It says,
come
here's
on.
a photograph of Kojima's farewell party on October 9th.
Oh,
And they said, we don't know what that was. He's on vacation.
oh,
And I mean, granted, the way they do things, he's technically not left yet,
Oh.
but it's
Okay.
just
Now,
it's
I was never a big fan, but what episode of The Office is this from?
yeah,
Like,
no, dude, you need to go
seriously.
watch The Office. But yeah, this is exactly like a Michael Scott, comment. He's on vacation. Just tell him he's on vacation. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. We're still making video games, maybe. Who knows? He's on vacation. He'll be back. He's in Orlando. Like, it is nuts.
I don't even know where to start with this.
Yeah, like who does that?
And
But
this
yeah,
is-
so it's just I'm sure what's probably gonna happen. He's probably gonna do his own studio. I think he's probably gonna go. He's probably gonna bring his team and do something under Sony. Hopefully, that's what the rumors are.
If Sony were smart, they would. That's exactly what would happen. They would reach out to him immediately.
Yep, and they're gonna go, hey, what you were gonna do with PT? Let's just do it.
Exactly. Like,
Because Silent Hills, you don't really need. It's not connected to anything. You can just make up a scary story and call it Silent Hills.
exactly. And
Yes.
that's what they were doing.
Yeah, yeah. So I that's what I hope they do.
Get Del Toro and Norman Reedus back on board. Get that whole project back together, and just do it under a different umbrella.
Call it TP instead of PT. Who knows? But yeah, no, it's that's what I think is going to happen. It's for 30 years with the company, like that's a long time, and for it to go out like he's on vacation, what a weird thing to say.
This whole saga has been. I demand a documentary based on this.
Yeah.
I'm serious, man, because that would be the most. I don't know what genre it would go under. Like if
Yeah.
it was like, what kind of documentary is it? Is it an absurdist comedy? Is it a thriller? Is it a mystery? What is it? Like,
Yeah, dude, my favorite thing online was it was a gif of Han Solo going, as Konami saying, "Yes, Kojima's here. He's fine. How are you?" Yeah, it's like that's exactly what they're doing. That's the thing. They're Konami's he's been Kojima has been on record of saying that Konami has been out of the AAA video game space for a while now. This is probably going to be the last big one, and it's sad. I don't know. Their Metal Gear franchise, unfortunately, is probably going to fall into plinko machines and to gambling machines because that's where they're all going. That's where Konami's all going, and they own all these rights to these properties that are just going to be gone. They're going to be locked, copyrighted into gambling machines that your grandma might play, at the slots.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's such a sad thing, and that's a lot of people's game of the year too. That's the craziest thing about it. It's just so sad. So, hopefully we'll find out in the next year or so where he lands, what he does, and I think it'd be really cool. He's been hanging out with a lot of PlayStation people. I have no doubt he's going to stay with PlayStation. It's been kind of his bread and butter. So who knows what studio he would go to, or if he found his own.
I imagine, well, because Kojima Productions was his baby. It was just like a subsidiary. It was really more of like an in-house studio at Konami, essentially. So
I mean, it would only make sense that moving forward he does what he wants to do.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah.
He doesn't do anything else but that. So that would make perfect sense. But yeah, man, it just wacky news.
I'm telling you, but it will be fun to see where he gets transferred to next.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, it'll be cool. We got some other video game news here. This one was pretty cool. Now, Star Wars Battlefront had their beta, and we saw Luke and we saw Vader. Hilariously, have you seen any of the videos online?
I've seen some of them, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and they've been funny. And they were fun to play. I didn't feel that powerful with them because I guess I kept dying. I don't know how. I've seen videos where
that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, people just wreck things where I'm like, oh, I'm jumping over here, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But apparently they've announced some heroes for it. Uh, we all knew Boba Fett's going to be in it. We've seen him in some of the previews, but not shown that they've shown now is Leia, Han, and Palpatine apparently. So
Yeah,
he's probably going to be doing his electricity all across the map. I
yeah,
imagine, flying around or whatnot. But that's cool. More heroes, more stuff like that.
yeah.
This is one of those games. I've been talking in like the group that I play video games with. Like, it's such a mixed group, really, because a lot of people are like, realistically, they're going to buy the game and play it for a few weeks or a few months and be done with it. And that's, I guess, what most people do with a lot of video games, except for like Destiny. We'll get into that. But unlike where I'm like, I'm optimistic about it. I know going in 4 planets. It's going to have, I don't know, like 16 maps or whatnot, but it's going to be 4 planets. I was hoping for more than that. And I guess we're going to get that with the season pass. So it's like a 40 or $50 season
50,
pass.
50.
Oh Jesus, $50 season pass.
That's what I mean, man. This is where you still like DICE will make a fantastic game, but it still got EA still has to do something. So
It's an EA game. That's the problem.
yeah, they don't want to screw up the development of a game like this. So they're just gonna make sure that they can hide as much. They're gonna figure out a way to screw it up somehow.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where they know people are going to buy it, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they know that this is going to sell big and people are going to want to play Star Wars because this is the first big Star Wars game we've had in forever. And that they know people are going to buy it up. So, I don't know, 4 planets. And a lot of my friends that I play Destiny with, they're like, that's going to be fun to get. A few of them are really excited. The rest are kind of like, realistically, we're going to play it for maybe a few weeks if we get it, and probably just come back to Destiny because that's just the first-person shooter platform they like. So yeah, I mean, I know I'm going to play it. I'm going to love it. Playing that Hoth battle alone, even in the last week since we haven't had the beta, I've been like, damn, I really wish I could go back and play some of that with some friends. And you can't. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, the PlayStation trailer for it.
Yeah, the PlayStation trailer for it, where the kids are playing.
That was a great commercial. I love that.
That was amazing. That spoke to me. Like, the kids playing, and then, they're all dressed up for Halloween. And who hasn't done that? Who hasn't done the Halloween dress up, played with the action figure? Who doesn't have a Star Wars figure sitting at their desk that is in love with Star Wars? Everyone does if you're in love with Star Wars. So, yeah, it was really cool. And he, like, hops in the X-Wing fighter, and it was just, I don't know. That made me like, oh, yep, that's marketing done right.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man. So let's get into some smaller video game news before we get into the bigger stuff. We'll talk about Destiny and whatnot. I saw that the PlayStation dropped prices in Australia and the UK to £299 and 99 cents, not cents. So $299.99. I don't know what it was from. It must have been like a $50.
$350 probably. Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. So it's now in line with all the the drop in price all along everywhere else.
Right.
Which makes sense, man. That this is PlayStation's trump card. I think they were playing this because they don't have any first party games.
Yeah.
Not even really second party coming out. It's all third party for Christmas, and I think Sony is banking on that. They're thinking we have a player base. They're going to be playing PlayStation because they put a lot of their marketing and money behind Destiny.
Yeah.
Behind a lot of these third-party game, Battlefront coming out, that they're thinking people are still going to play because they already play there, and all the first-party should be next year with, of course, Uncharted. Yeah, so and that's the other thing. I've been playing that game, the Uncharted collection. Oh man, I jumped right to the second one because that's my favorite. I really should have went in order, but yeah, I got through the first 3 chapters, and it's one of those games where you start to play and you just lose all track of time. You're having fun. You're playing I'm trying to be very cautious about where everything's at, so I can get the what do you call it? So I can get the trophies and whatnot. So like I didn't look online ahead of time to like where I need to go.
Okay.
But yeah, but I'm very careful where I go and what I get because I want to get them all. But yeah, no, it's such a fun playthrough. If you haven't played Uncharted, go get that the Uncharted Drake collection. It's absolutely amazing. Have you played any of it?
Just the demo that went up. I haven't cracked it yet, but
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
can't wait because I loved them. I played through them originally. I remember the first Uncharted, and I'm looking at the box, and I'm like, what kind of Indiana Jones nonsense is this?
Yeah.
And then but it was pre-owned, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. Like, this was the one that I could do, and so I was like, fine, I'll do this. And I started playing it, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm good. What's and then when Uncharted 2 came out, and I'll never forget like sitting in my buddy's house and that opening sequence.
Yeah.
That to me, I was like, just that's it. Sony wins. Like, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the amount of detail that Naughty Dog puts in their games and the amount of love and passion, you can tell that it's just so well done. So yeah, it's Uncharted is one of those games you can sit on your buddy's couch and you don't have to play and you still have a good time, because the characters are funny. I was when I was playing it, I thought it was a strange thought. Who could be a good him? He's a little too old now, but the way he talks totally reminds me of Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
Yeah,
lot of Bradley Cooper in that. This is true.
Yeah, the very Bradley Cooper, the dialogue and whatnot, just the way he sounds, the way he talks in Nolan North. I was like, oh, this totally reminds me of Bradley Cooper. He might be, I don't know, he could pull it off. He might be a little too old for it.
I
I don't
think he
know.
could do it. Nathan's not exactly a young guy. He's what, in
Yeah,
his 30s?
that's true. Yeah, if they did it, I would totally love to see Bradley Cooper do that role. But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. I did that the other day before I got into Destiny because I knew I was gonna get into Destiny. I knew I was gonna get all, and I was like, nope, I need to take a break and I need to play a different game, and that was definitely one that was worth playing. We got some other news here. For you Twitch fans, they released an app on the PlayStation 4. Now, the reason why this is important to me, there's a lot of shows that I watch on Twitch, which is strange because usually people watch video games and whatnot. Like I watch the Kind of Funny Colin and Greg live. I can't watch it. I hate that I couldn't watch it on my PlayStation because that's mostly what they talk about. Now I'm glad that I can go on my PlayStation, I can pull up Twitch, and I can watch whatever show I want or watch whatever streamer I want live, and I think that's so cool. So
Yeah, this is an area like I don't have enough to watch already, so
yeah, yeah. No,
I
what
just
I like about them is they have a daily show, same time. It's 2 p.m. every day, and you can go and back. You can go and back their backlog and watch it. So you can watch it anytime. Well, anyway, we'll get right back. We got more video game news, comic books, and reviews to talk about. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And yeah, we were just talking about Twitch on PlayStation 4, so that's cool. Yeah, again, the Colin and Greg Live, great show. I'm a fan of them, so you guys should be watching it too. Yeah, 2 p.m. every day, but I usually watch it later in the afternoon or evening, and it's like an hour and a half long, and it's basically your video game news of the day. And it's their show, and it's really cool. Now, the people remember the Attack of the Show?
Oh my god, yeah, way back on G4.
By the way, it's on Twitch. It's called the Attack, and it's the what's his name, the main host.
Oh, yeah. I'm blanking. I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah. Attack of the Show. But yeah, so he has his own show. His is the same time as Kind of Funny. So every day, kind of have these two shows if I want to go watch. And that's the thing about him is there's stuff I'm interested in. I'm not sitting there watching some thing on TV that I could care less about where they might mention 2 minutes of Star Wars. This is all geek news, all, whatever. So I really enjoy those two shows, especially the Kind of Funny people. They're great. They just had they have Adam Sessler on this whole week.
Oh, really? So, okay.
Yeah, on their YouTube channel as well. They do a segment every day. They release it, and it's Adam Sessler. And who doesn't like Adam Sessler? He's so passionate about video games and pretty much everything he talks about. So
nice.
But yeah, so we got some more video game news here to talk about. Let's see here. Life is Strange episode came out. Have you played any of that?
I haven't yet, actually. Because again, I don't have enough to play right now. But that's something that looked really interesting. Like I do want to come back to that at some point.
Yeah, it really is. I really enjoyed it. I've only played one episode. I want to play the rest, so it's all out now. So you can go get them all. Some other news. Pikachu has a Build-A-Bear.
I love this. Yeah, it's coming early next year.
Yeah,
they're going to start doing Build-A-Pikachus at Build-A-Bear, and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that's going to be huge for them. I know I told my friend, and she's definitely taking her kid to go do that as soon as it comes out because he loves Pikachu.
Here's the thing. if you have, this is how you know if your girlfriend's a keeper or not. If you get her one of these and she absolutely if there's any response other than she absolutely loves it, then move on. Like,
Right. Oh yeah, exactly.
that's
Yeah.
if you get your girlfriend one of these and she completely goes over the moon, then she's a keeper for sure.
Oh yeah.
Anything
Absolutely.
else? No, forget it. Not worth the time.
Right, I totally agree. Oh yeah, man. Well, I think that's it for video game. Let's get into some Destiny
Well,
talk.
hang on.
Oh,
Uh, Dell, their Black Friday ad has leaked, and
oh,
apparently they're doing a Fallout 4 Xbox One bundle on Black Friday, $300.
oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh. So you just buy it online on Dell.com or something?
I guess I don't know, and I'm telling you, man, I that may tempt me. That may.
Yeah.
I've been looking for something to sell me an Xbox One, and this, I
That
gotta
Halo.
tell you, that Halo, like Fallout 4, because it's multi-platform, doesn't, whatever. Halo pulls, because I love that series. I really do.
Have you seen the new trailer?
I have.
Oh, it looks good. It
I,
definitely, because I never got into the Halo series, but now that I played Bungie's Destiny,
yeah.
I'm like, I could revisit that.
Yeah, I loved, and it got better as it went on. And you see, that's the thing. I love the actual universe. I love the story. I got into the books. I grabbed the graphic novel, which was basically just a retelling of the Fall of Reach in a sense.
Right.
But it was so good. And I loved that book. I loved Fall of Reach. And that was great because they took that and then they made that into Halo Reach. And and I love that. Like, I love the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And they've really built on that, and so seeing Halo 5 stuff, like, it's pulling. I don't know. And GameStop does layaway now. So I mean, I don't know, man. I'm tempted. And the rare replay. I want the rare replay because it's the only place you can find a decent way to play Blast Core.
Right,
And I loved the hell out of that game. That was
there you go, man.
That was one of my favorite N64 games ever.
Yeah.
I
remember you talking about it.
I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm tempted. I'm very tempted.
That Halo trailer got me too. I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have an Xbox. And then, that $300 bundle? What?
Yeah, right?
That's crazy. And that, oh man, that's really tempting. And, I guess kind of touching on your talk about Halo and having a good story, Kotaku released an article. Let me see if I can find it. Kotaku released an article all about Destiny and the true story, the messy true story behind the making of Destiny. Jason Schreier, I'm mispronouncing his name, released it. I don't want to go too much into it, so go read it yourself. It's a really good article, but it goes into like the details of what happened. Basically, they wanted people to put Destiny universe in the same shelf they put Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and Star Wars. And it all fell apart pretty badly. And the article's all about how they completely revamped the entire story a year or so before it came out. They had this 10-year plan. They were committed to a 10-year plan worth $500 million to make happen, et cetera, and it all fell through. And pretty much all the major players fell out of it. And that's why when it was shipped, there was no story. It was not like Halo, where Halo had a good story. Halo was, I never got into it, but I still appreciated how much people liked it, because as much as I saw of it, I still understood that there was a big story behind it.
Yeah.
Where in Destiny, there's a handful of shots. And so they had bigger plans for, Mars and all these other planets. The DLC was supposed to be coming out, and Destiny was also actually pushed a year as well. But yeah, man, no, it was just apparently, like, the way the story was put was like there was an Obi-Wan Kenobi like mentor living on an ancient Vex temple in Mercury, and all this other cool stuff, all these cool characters that never exist now. There's just not a part of the story. There's a lot of, if you look at the concept art for Destiny, you can see all of this cool stuff. It's never made the game. Some of it did, like the wizards and, those Trials of Osiris and all this stuff. It was like it was put into the game, but there was no explanation. or people were just like, oh, this is a multiplayer part of the game and I can play it to get gear. And so they only thought about the meta and they didn't actually think about the lore, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole article's all about that. It is really well done. I thought it was really well, so go read it. And it goes into just the details of what they were planning. And apparently they're doing a sequel next year, 2016 holiday. So that was kind of put in there as well. That's the plan. They're doing a lot of they're putting in content throughout the year, and I think they're doing an expansion next year before the Destiny 2 or whatever it's called. But it's a lot of stuff put in it. Now, you've been playing Destiny. Oh, that's another thing we should talk about. We're going to be doing a Destiny related podcast at the end of this week. So on Saturday, it's going to be one episode, and it's going to be just like a beginner's guide of Destiny. We're going to go over the basics. We're going to go over what makes it fun. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience. Logan's going to talk a little bit about his, and it's just going to be one of our special episodes where we're going to get into it. And if you're a fan of Destiny, join in, listen to us. If you're not and you're curious about it, join in, because really year 2 has it's been a total change from year 1. The way the gameplay is, the way the story missions are given to you, the way they trickle out content. Like this week alone. Yeah, for example, a few weeks ago there was a quest where you had to get 3 ghosts. Nothing was said about it. You just did the quest. It was different from any other time you did it before. There was a whole new boss battle at the end that didn't exist in the game. And at the end you got this little ghost thing. And that was it. There was nothing else. We all knew that there was going to be something more coming. Everybody, and it was a daily. So you had to do it that day or you couldn't do it at all until it came around again. So yesterday, on Tuesday, they did a patch, and in that patch, suddenly you got a new quest. If you did that 3 ghost quest, you were able to do this other quest line to get the gun called "There's No Time to Explain," which is a run on the joke, because in year 1 Destiny, the Stranger, her rifle, the Stranger basically tells you there's no time to explain why there's no time to explain. One of the worst written lines in video game history. And they just kind of ran with that joke, and that's what they called basically the Stranger's rifle, the exotic rifle. So anyway, I know that's a lot of information, but that kind of stuff was so cool. Logging into Destiny, seeing that there was this new mysterious thing that doesn't really go into details or explain what it is, and you're telling all your friends, you're in your group chat with your Destiny buddies, and you're like, this thing just dropped, I'm going to see what happens. They're all on pins and needles trying to figure out, okay, tell us what it is. They're doing research, they're going on Reddit, everyone's doing it at the time, and it's this weird, cool thing that it's rare in video games. Stuff like this happened in World of Warcraft, but it would happen every other year maybe. Like when zombies randomly, they just released zombies all over the world, and it started some event for the new expansion. But this is cool. Getting this weekly is much more exciting than every 3 months getting new content.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, and so I know I've just went on forever about it.
Hey man, that's just a little preview of our toothpaste-filled special Destiny spin-off episode.
Yeah, that's an inside joke. We may or may not talk about.
I don't think we'll tell that joke.
Right, yeah, and that. So just for a minute, man, tell us, have you been enjoying it?
I have. Like I had, because here was the thing, I grabbed, because I got the Destiny bundle when I got my PS4. So I was like, all right, cool, jump on, I'll see what this is about. And I remember I hated the upgrading mechanics, because they seemed unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what they were back then. And we'll talk about that difference on that episode, because now it is so much simpler. It is so much more streamlined. But
exactly.
It's been, playing solo has been fine. Because there's some stuff that you can do solo, and there's some stuff that you have to do solo, but sometimes it is fun to jump in with a group and say, all right, we're all gonna coordinate, we're all gonna do this, and that was fun.
Oh yeah, and playing solo, the best thing about Destiny is you can throw on a podcast, you can throw on a YouTube or something like that, and whatever show you like to watch, and you can sit there and do patrols, you can sit there and do Crucible, you can sit there and do missions, and you can sit there and sometimes even do stuff with groups and just turn your mic off. And that's great. I love that about it, is that this is the game you can chill with watching something at the same time or listening to something at the same time. And then there's the other aspect of where, yeah, you can get in it with a group of people, and the social aspect is amazing. It's kind of become just a group of friends that, every other night or every night or whenever they can, whenever they get some time away from their wife or whatnot, they can get to this place and they can just talk while they kill stuff. And that, I think that's really cool. That's what World of Warcraft was for a lot of people. It was more of like a chat room for them while they play this game, and you build these friendships and whatnot, and it's just really cool. And like you said, it's also this game where you can just kind of shut everything off and just do regular single player as
Totally.
well. But yeah, man. So we'll talk way more about Destiny. Saturday, our episode should go live on Saturday, so look for us. And it will just be a Destiny themed episode. So
Yeah,
um,
because I have and because I want a lot of questions answered. Like I heard, especially like during the group chat, I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, we did this and we did that." I'm like, I have no idea what any of this means.
right. I will try desperately to kind of write down some stuff and get some stuff together on the basics, because there's a lot of consumables. There's a lot of currency in the game. There's a lot of things that you got to keep in mind. So, but we'll talk all about that this Saturday. But we'll be back. We got a lot of reviews and comics to talk about. And again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And yeah, we got some reviews to talk about. Let's knock it out with comic books. What have you been reading, man?
Well, I picked up a lot of the number ones for this week,
Mm-hmm.
for Marvel. Like I said, I fell out of DC a long time ago. I'm waiting for Justice League. Justice League's been good. The Dark Side War has been interesting.
Have you been reading any Batman at all?
And Batman, yeah.
Yeah.
I missed last week or last
Oh, okay.
time, whenever it was. I
Oh,
am
okay.
I am one back on Batman, but been big on Marvel this week. The one that I didn't get to was Chewbacca, which I know you read.
Yes, Chewbacca was so good. It's not just Chewbacca roaring. It actually tells a story of a kid. Not to get too much into it, but it tells a story of a kid who, there's a line in the comic, and when you read it, you'll go, "This is the line Adam was talking about," where Chewbacca understood what the kid was going through and knew that he could help and knew that he had to help. There was no other option but to help. And
Interesting.
so it's the story about Chewbacca doing, it's just him, and he wants to help this kid, and you can tell that this is going to be a cool little story about these two characters, and I loved it. I thought it was really well done.
Nice. And it is
Based,
a limited. It's a 5 issue run, right? Like they did
yep,
with Lando.
yep, and that's all it needs to be. This cool
There you
little
go.
story. Here you go. And it's Chewbacca at his best and him just being a big hero, and I loved it, and the story of the kid and what he has to go through and whatnot, and it was really cool. These Star Wars books are really knocking it out. The what is it, the Star Wars, the Force, what is it, the
Star.
Aftermath?
Yeah, it's Star Wars Journey to the Force Awakens: The Shattered Empire, right?
That's it. Have you read any of those?
I have, yeah. I go back and forth a little on that one. Like
I like it.
I want to be into it more than I am.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really do like it. I think they're coming out every week. Yeah, it seems like every week they're coming out. There's a third one, and the fourth one drops today.
Oh, is a new one today?
Yeah, there's a new one today. So it seems, or at least I believe there
I don't
is.
think so.
Yeah, the
No.
21st. So September 9th, October 7th, October 14th, October 21st.
Really?
So yeah, it's a weekly thing, and I think that's really cool. I've really enjoyed it because it has Poe's parents. You're seeing them. You're seeing
Yeah.
the story. And so I don't know. I really enjoyed that. Let's see.
And this is the
We
last one because it's just a 4 issue run.
Yep, it's just a 4 issue run. It's just here's a quick preview of what's been happening, and you get a little bit of Poe's parents. And in the book, apparently, is a lot of Poe's parents. It's the same characters,
Yeah.
so I thought that was cool. There was what were the Marvel books out this week?
This past week or today this week?
This past week.
Well, you had Captain America Sam Wilson number
How'd
one.
you like that?
I liked it.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't read it. I heard there's some controversy.
there is because Sam is a different Captain America. not just because he's a different person, but because he's gonna be a little more involved in terms of policy.
Okay.
It's
Well,
like I
Captain America always was too. He always
not like this.
went against Congress and stuff.
Not so much.
Oh, okay.
Imagine back, the
I mean, there was a point where he actually dropped the mantle because he didn't like what America was doing or where it was going.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. They try to. I think they kind of want you to forget that starting with this issue.
Oh, okay.
There is a point where Sam talks about, Steve always tried to stay above the fight.
Okay.
And yeah, like they kind of forgot where he did just sort of say, I can't do this anymore. I can still be a superhero, but I can't be Captain America anymore. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Sam kind of does sort of a, hey, you know what? Captain America should stand for American values and whatnot. And of course, anytime you try to get political, there's going to be an explosion.
Yeah.
There's going to be a backlash, and that's what happens to him. So now Captain America becomes a partisan figure, in a sense.
Oh, okay.
And it's great because the whole story, this issue is him on a flight to somewhere, telling this story to the two frat guys he's sitting with because he's in coach.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's interesting. It's gonna be an interesting story because it's current. They're saying what, and I hate when people say like, oh, they should do this, they should do that. Look, comic books have always been, media in general has always been a reflection of the times.
Right.
I mean, you've talked about in Action Comics.
Yeah.
Like that's,
Yep.
like that's what you do with this kind of medium, or with any medium. You comment on current events.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah, totally. So that's one I picked up. I didn't read though.
Yeah, it's an interesting read. It's definitely an interesting read. Secret Wars Civil War story wrapped this past week. That was interesting.
Secret Wars Civil War. Okay, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've only read 1 or 2 issues of that one.
It's a good run. It's a good 5 issues.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of the books that I read this week, and I can't for the life of me. What else came out?
Guardians #1, New Guardians.
Oh, I read that with Kitty Pryde as as Peter Quill.
As Star-Lord, yeah.
Star-Lord, yeah. And I love that he was just on his planet like, oh, I hate my job. I hate that I have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
It's interesting, like the villain, and this isn't really a spoiler, but the villain that they have coming after them is Hala. Hala. And the thing was, I thought, now I know that name. Why do I know that name? Oh yeah, because wasn't it like a Kree planet?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It wasn't a character, like it was a world.
Yeah, that's strange.
So
you're right.
I mean, I wonder, like, did they just say, hey, we have this name we're going to stick it on a character? Or is there some Secret Wars aftermath reason for that?
Right, yeah, you got a point.
Yeah,
you got a point.
Was it specific, or did it just were they just like, hey, this is a thing?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that was a good one. Let's see, whatever. Well, because of time, what do you want to do? Did you want to save Colder for next week?
We can.
Did you want to talk about it now? Because we still got Walking Dead. We still got Arrow. We still got Flash.
Well, let's get through those, and we'll see. Yeah, let's save Colder for next week.
Okay, we'll save Colder for next week, and let's see what is next week.
The 28th.
The 28th. Okay, all right. Should we pick another book?
Let's double down, because it's gonna be near Halloween.
Down.
Let's do it.
I'm just gonna go for it. We're gonna do Colder, and we're gonna do the Afterlife with Archie.
There you go.
Yep. So it's just one series. I think it's like 1 through 7. Pick it up. It's great. So we'll talk about both of those books in a giant-sized Halloween special comic book thing during our episode next week. And we'll talk about those 2 volumes. So that'd be cool. So let's get into it. Only got a few minutes, so we'll get into, let's see, Walking Dead. What did you think of it?
I am loving this season. I'm absolutely loving this season.
It's been so good so far. Every episode has been nailing it. I loved that, at first I was a little confused. I'm like, wait a second, where's this horn? Because that's where we left off. And then I was like, oh yeah, we're seeing a little bit before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now we get the introduction. Or no, actually, the wolves have been there.
Well,
We've seen the wolf.
yes, but no. Like we knew they existed and we saw a couple of them, but
Yeah.
like this was our first good look at like what does a pack of these wolves look like?
Yes. Oh yeah, and it was fantastic, man. The whole episode was on the edge of my seat. Didn't know what was going to happen. Clearly, we have, I think, a spy in the group. We saw the pictures.
Well, I think uh I'm wondering if that was just if he lost that pack at some point or
Here's what I think. You know the
okay.
chick who was writing the JSS on her wrist and everything else we see at the beginning of the episode?
Enid, yeah.
I think she's a part of them. Because the W they all write on their head.
Yeah, but I mean that was her motto.
Is there a
Though.
connection there? Because we see her for some reason at the beginning of the episode. She's acting weird the whole time, and we know that someone took pictures inside of that compound.
Well, I
and
mean
gave it to
because
them.
that was the orientation pack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the two scouts. Like that was how. Remember when they met
Okay.
Rick's group? He was like, "Here's what." Like that was why they had pictures. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry then. Yeah, and I was wondering what happened to that guy. We haven't seen him all season until just now, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who looks like Eric Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole time, like, oh, there he is. Where did he go? So yeah, it was so freaking good, and I liked Carl and all that in it. And what's her name? My mind's going blank here.
Carol.
Carol, she's the best. She really is.
You can.
I love
see
how she steps up and she's just like, "This has to be done. We have to kill them. They're gonna kill us."
Yeah.
And she was super smart to go to the ammo to dress like them. Like, oh, she's something to reckon with. All right, so got a few minutes. Arrow and Flash. What'd you think?
Arrow. Arrow is good. Arrow is good. I'm digging the way they're going with this.
Yes.
We knew, like, because we had seen trailer for Legends of Tomorrow,
Yep.
we know where some of this is going already.
Yep.
But
Unfortunately.
yeah, but taking some of that aside, like stepping away from that and just looking at how they've done this,
Yeah.
like it's such a cool moment, and to see like that not only is she doing this behind almost everybody else's back,
Mhm.
but even when Thea sees this, she's not freaking out. She's
Yeah.
not wigging and like, oh wait, she looks at her, she's like, are you sure about this?
Oh,
Like-
it's just getting creepy at this
Yeah.
point. I thought, are they really going here? Now, the thing about the Lazarus Pit, I always thought you had to have a certain time period. You couldn't just go months, down the road.
Well, that's for comic book lore, yes.
Right. No, I'm
but
not.
but
I'm
I mean, but even still,
yeah.
I wonder what they're gonna do with the show. Like exactly how is this gonna work?
Well, I was hoping it would be. This is going to be. I was hoping it would be like. It has to happen with a certain time period because at this point, then it's just anyone can be thrown in it.
Right, but
There's no real.
again the consequences though.
Yeah, that's
we'll
true.
see.
And from what I understand, they said with Legends of Tomorrow, they make it very clear apparently in the first few episodes. If someone dies, they die. There is no going back to saving them because they're explained by Rory from Doctor Who. That's who Rip Hunter is, right?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
so. So he's explained we cannot do that. That will destroy the universe or something like that. That will completely change everything, and we can't do that.
Right.
And so they explain if you die, we can't go back and save you. So don't think we could just let's get in the time machine and go.
Well, but there's a difference between the Lazarus Pit and messing with the time stream.
That's true.
There's a difference there. But
Yeah.
the Flash, man. Oh my
Yeah.
God, this season is awesome. I love
It
this
is.
season.
Yeah, they've both been knocking it out of the park. I liked how it ended. I liked who came back.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and I watched it when it was really really late at night. I'm actually gonna go back and rewatch it, but I really liked it. I thought it was good. I liked that we saw the Captain Cold and his sister again, and that whole family drama and how crazy his dad is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh, man. And he like those two play so well together. Snart and Flash just they work so well together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we got some cool Cisco moments too. I love his one-liners. Like we need to hang out.
We should hang out more. Yeah.
Yeah, he's so cool. Well, I think we're wrapping it up here. We're running low on time. So, again, this weekend, we're going to be doing a Destiny podcast. It's going to come out on Saturday. It's going to be on, iTunes and whatnot. So download it. Make sure you go to our Facebook page, We Geek Podcast. We have one you can like, one you can join. send me a message. You can send us an email at wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. You can our Twitter is wegeekpod at wegeekpodcast, at Adam Estep ESTEP, and
At the Logan Witt WITT.
there you go. Even add me on PlayStation Network. It's Addy Adam, ADDYADDYADAM, and I'll play some games with you. Probably Destiny. I don't know if you want to give yours out, Logan.
We'll see if I get into more online, more multiplayer stuff. Then
Right,
maybe.
there you go. But I think that's it. So, again, this weekend, Destiny. Next week, we'll have a whole bunch more news to talk about, and we'll talk about Afterlife with Archie and Colder. Anything else?
I think that'll do it.
Okay, Captain?
Captain.